Swoo.
There's a mate of mine, Tom, who brought this guy along to a murder mystery party I had in Brighton. And he said, this guy, keep an eye out for this guy, because he's making some quality drum and bass. And this guy turned up as some sort of like Parisian prostitute in the 1930s. He was one of these murder mystery parties. And do you know who he grew up to be?
Who's he grew up to be?
Hieroglyphics.
No.
Yeah.
I remember actually going to the shop round the corner from your house to pick up that get up that day. Yeah.
So I met Matt at a murder mystery party
In Brighton.
and Tom said to me, the mate who brought him along, said, this guy makes some good music.
And
Here we are.
I mean, I feel like your sense of dress has gone downhill from then. I would love to see you dressed as a 19th century
I actually
prostitute.
had a really sick mustache as well. I kind of like, the Pringles guy. I kind of like that
Yeah.
basically.
Did you meet me first in Brighton as well?
I did meet you first.
What was your first impression?
Not good.
Why was
Not
that?
good. Well, I think the first thing I said to you, maybe it was slightly my ego playing into it, but I said to you, you're Sam Binga, right? Because I've just had a record and I was the B-side of your tune. It's Foreign Concept. And you said, never heard you, mate. Never heard you. And I was like, hang on, we've just had a record. I was the other side of it. He was like, never heard you, mate. I was like, okay.
Wow.
And then I invited him back to my house. I was like, look, we're having a little party. Come back to my house. It's going to be a load of people there. We'll sort of have a good time. He spent the next 4, 5, 6 hours facing the wall, DJing, not speaking to anyone. I was like, who the hell was this guy? I mean, fair enough for DJing for that long, but yeah.
In my defence, I do remember that when you said who you were, I was trying to what I was trying to get across, but didn't at all, was that I was so new to like the drum and bass scene at that point that like you could have been the biggest guy. And what I meant to say was like, I know nothing. I'm so sorry, I haven't heard of you. Obviously, what came out was, I don't know who you are, mate.
Don't know who you are, mate.
And as for DJing at the house party, I kind of enjoyed it.
No, you did. You were in your element. I
didn't know anybody, and I'm not good at house parties. I never really.
But from my perspective,
I can see how that didn't look great.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, without further ado, and less talk of prison prostitutes and wall-facing DJs, this is Artificial Red, Zomrazet Styles.
Swoo.
If the listeners don't know, what is a bootleg, first and foremost?
So a bootleg is taking an original track and flipping that track into a remix, but using the the MP3 or the WAV.
Okay.
Without using the parts.
So I'm going to jump in. Has any of us checked the Discord at all recently?
I thought
no, but you're welcome to check it.
Well, we've got a joke through it, but anyway, carry on with your bootleg talk.
So that's what a bootleg is, yeah.
So there's a bit of a grey area, isn't there?
What was the history behind the bootleg, Matt? There's been quite a history in drum and bass with bootlegs.
Well, in 1989, how far do you want me to go back?
The 90s.
Well, I think there's a bit of a grey area, isn't there, between what gets classified as a remix and what gets classified as bootleg. I always thought it was an uncommissioned remix, is what a bootleg was. But I might be wrong.
Why is Matt the king of the bootleg?
Because he's done a number of controversial bootlegs. He would bootleg anything. A tune wasn't a tune, and this guy was bootlegging it about 5 years ago.
What was the hot one?
I don't know if I want to say the hot ones, but we had some. I had to broker a peace deal between Matt and a producer that I won't mention, because he had a hot tune, big tune, and Matt bootlegged it about 2 weeks after release. And do you remember that? I had to broker that peace deal.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit more complicated than that, but yes.
There was a few moving parts. But anyway, so let's talk about this demo that we've been sent.
Should we play the demo, maybe?
Let's play the demo and let's talk about it, yeah.
What do you think of this then?
Great. No, it's bootleg aside, the arrangement it's difficult to say, isn't it? Because a lot of the
interest
is made by George Smith and co. But as a tune, it's a good arrangement. It's a guy called Closure, who I went on his SoundCloud, and he's only got one track on there, which is this. So I can't reference it to anything. But it's solid arrangement. I think the fairest thing would be George Smith bootlegs a Closure track.
Yeah, that's to complete the circle.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we had discussions about this as to whether we should do it or not, and I don't know. There was none of the other demos really spoke to me particularly, and it's a bootleg, and so it's maybe not something that could be signed, obviously, but none of the demos really stood out as being because the one from the time before, the CLA one, was like that. Really
Mm.
was like, yeah, this is something special. But
Yeah.
there's a lot. They were all very competent, but nothing was like, yeah, that's the one. You know.
There was one that
What?
me and Matt liked. That I don't know. If
What? So you let me bully the both of you into not using it?
Yeah.
Well, there's some pussies, aren't you?
So maybe we'll try and shoehorn that in for the next show.
Also, producers, if you're sending in a demo, make sure it's got a warped bass sound in it, and it's got more likelihood of getting played.
I love a warp bass line. It just sounds cheeky. I think it's because I'm from the north, so
Yeah.
it's accurate. We did actually have a joke just come in on the Discord,
Go on.
which is annoyingly, I've seen I know where they got this joke from. This joke is thiefed off TikTok, and it's what's the difference between an enzyme and a hormone?
Dunno.
You can't hear an enzyme.
God.
Yeah. Okay, so
Are you on TikTok?
no, but it gets reposted to Instagram, and I spend way too much time
Okay, right.
like just
Why-
mindlessly
Why
scrolling.
aren't you on TikTok? That's the real question.
You're about
I think-
25 years above the age cut-off for TikTok.
Yeah, I think I'd
buddy.
probably be arrested. I think I should do that. I think there is a Sam Binga TikTok on there, but management handles it.
Management.
Management.
You know, we put some of the videos on there, and none of them have got traction so far.
I've seen your Busted challenge.
It's not a
Yeah.
Sam Binga bot, is it, on TikTok?
No, the Sam Binga bots.
Simulating dances that Sam would do.
The only downside of it is this.
Alright.
Money down.
That didn't work on radio too well, but yeah. You're right, this is very cinematic. It reminds me of if Lorne made drum and bass.
Yeah,
Some of those synth tones are very Lorne-y, aren't they?
very lorny.
Yeah.
Feeling lorny.
Do you like Lorne?
Don't know what lorn is.
Okay, fair. I did think that might have been the case. You're a Lorne fan, right, Matt?
Yeah, I do love a bit of Lorne. Great producer.
Yeah, do you know what I mean about them sort of like distorted, epic, reverby synth things?
Yeah, very epic, atmospherical.
Atmosphericalized. Yeah. I think this next one's one of your choices as well, Matt.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's the Extra and Genic.
Ooh, Genic. Is it called Droplets?
It is called Droplets, and it's fixed.
Droplets, very relatable for current times.
Yeah, weather's been grim in Bristol, isn't it?
Aerosol. Oh, this is on Players, isn't it?
Yeah, which is quite cool for Extra. Interesting.
Do you know
Or
what?
More so than usual.
Hype
than his usual
followed me on
bullshit.
Instagram recently,
Really?
Wow.
and he's been liking all my garage tunes, which I guess makes sense because Hype used to make some amazing break-steppy, bingo beats kind of
Yeah.
stuff in the early 2000s. Do you know what? I just remembered I went into Black Market Records once, and he was working there, and I got chatting to him about I'm probably a bit starstruck, because I was like 20 at the time, and was like,
Yep.
I love all the garagey breakbeat stuff. You into all that? He's like, oh yeah, I love it all. So yeah, big up Hype.
Have you seen the Hype puppet?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god, can I just show it to you quickly because it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
He's gone slightly nuts, isn't he? He's like gone into this
Lockdown vibes.
basement and he's created these puppets and he's doing this daily stream thing. Have you not seen any of it?
No.
Did you not follow him back?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, have you not seen it? He's on it all the time.
Alright, can I just
you
show
didn't
you?
follow him
'cause
back,
it's-
did you?
Hang on, we've got to see this.
So this is obviously a puppet of him,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's made puppets of himself
and
and he live streams whilst.
giving feedback about tunes and yeah, I don't know if you can hear it.
No, this is amazing. Do you know what? Big ups Hype for getting a new hobby in lockdown. Some discussion in the studio as to whether this sounds a bit like Hazard Digital Bumblebees, and opinion is split. I would say, I can see the similarities, but I don't think that it's so close. You think it's quite similar, Matt?
Well, I didn't say quite. I mean, it's Digital Bumblebees-esque. I assume there had been some inspiration from that tune.
Sorry, I'm not trying to bait you out here.
Yeah, it feels slightly baited.
and you were saying very different.
Yeah, I think not very different. It's similar worlds, but I wouldn't say it's direct rip-off.
Did anyone say that? I don't think anyone said that. I didn't say that.
So you're on the complete rip angle, and
No, it's obviously that kind of vibe, isn't it? It's similar sort of esque theme track to Bumblebees, Digital Bumblebees.
I do love Digital Bumblebees. Such a banger. Hazard's a
Great.
genius.
It is.
I sat down and played the riff from Bricks Don't Roll the other day, And it's weird because it's so iconic, and then you just kind of actually have to remind yourself there's only 3 notes. And like all this.
I've got a picture of you at a keyboard with the score, you know, sort of like trying it over and over again till you get it.
I mean, they're not that far wrong, to be honest.
Did you not have a new EP out recently? Or
Yeah, we played some on the
last month, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, big Extra. I've not seen Extra for a minute actually. Hope he's all right.
It's good lad, I like Extra. I used to go around his house and make tunes for him, and he's got, I don't know if he's still going, but he's the biggest dog. Sorry, yeah.
Wondering where you're going with that.
I should have said dog quicker there.
Biggest, most amazing, hairy dog.
He used to keep me going around there. No, but this dog used to sit behind this like little kind of barrier thing to stop it jumping over, just sitting there growling at me the whole time whilst I was trying to like make tunes with
That's not something what you want.
trying to be creative, you know, try this, whatever. And I could just feel this, like, I think he was like a French bull.
You know what, they do actually have very
thing.
good taste in music, so that does kind of make a lot of sense.
What, French bull dog?
Hating your tunes, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go.
Switching from tunes that we hate to tunes that we love, it is now the time in the show for our artist appreciation, legend appreciation section.
Yep.
And I believe this month we've gone for a local hero.
Yes.
Man like DJ Die, who I think we bigged up quite heavily last show as well, didn't we?
He's had a good innings out of us.
He's no Hyroglifics. He's no Hyroglifics in terms of, getting promoted on the show, but he does all right. So yeah, let's start with a young one, Matt. When did you first become aware of DJ Die, and what kind of tunes did it for you?
I think things like Drop Bear and Clear Skies for me, the classic.
Where were you born again?
Yeah, hang on.
1992.
That doesn't add up.
So when
So
I
you've been
was
about
I think when I was about 5 or 6, that's when Clear Skies came out, that kind of time. So
And it influenced you quite heavily at that point, obviously.
Yeah,
you
when I
got
was-
it from Black Market on White Label at that time, didn't you?
yeah, I saw Nicky.
Yeah, I remember you in the queue, yeah.
They actually put a little step in at the counter so you could reach and get the records off. It's amazing your parents let you go into London on your own
Yeah,
at that age.
took it to the end, played it at the end, and then Bagley's. All those clubs.
All those clubs that you knew. Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Bristol. I think I've already told this story in another show, but I don't care. First moved to Bristol, I was with some friends. I think it was with my ex, who I was kind of still having a mild thing with, down from Manchester. And Di spotted me and was driving past and pulled down his window. I was like, "All right, you doing?" And and everyone's a bit like starstruck, and he's like, "Yeah, Bristol's pretty cool, man. Like Mercury Music Prize winners."
He knew who you were.
Yeah, I knew. I think we maybe met once or twice, but like he's such a friendly dude.
Yeah.
And people I was with were a bit like starstruck, as I was, and it's like, yeah, wow, you can be in Bristol and a Mercury Music Prize winner,
Yeah.
stops his car to wind out his window and say what's up to you. It's like it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
What about me?
And Die. Give us some good Die stories. It sounds like he's died. How do you like to remember Die?
I remember him as a father first, producer second. No, my first memory of Diet was seeing him at the Dojo Lounge.
Oh, rest in. I saw Dojo Lounge
for a night. Do you know Intrigue?
Yeah.
So I saw him at Intrigue, and also I was aware of him.
Shout out Ben and Alice and all Colette.
And I was obviously aware of him, of his past endeavours, but I'd gone up to see a mate at uni, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll go out for a night at Intrigue at Dojo," and he was DJing, and he played like an old school set, so he's playing all his old classics. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck, this guy is quality."
Yeah, he's
I
sick.
loved it. And then that was my first exposure to Die.
Oh, let's get into it because I've only got a quarter of an hour left now.
Oh yeah. What tune have you picked, Sam? As your
So I've started with I chose this one, more of a modern choice on his Gutter Funk label. This is Get Some. It says it's about Die and Break, but I think it's just Die on his own.
No, it's Die.
But I love playing. It's Die and Break, is it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just great. Great drums, lovely wobbly bass. This is everything I like in a Die tune.
Soulful, those soulful samples.
But without being like a kind of a cliched kind of soulful. Do you know what I mean? It's like Die loves his boogie and his rare groove and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through. So it's rather than just being like generic, here's some Rhodes chords, it's a bit soulful. It's like this is actually, you can just tell he loves it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It really comes through. I think intentionality is a big thing in music, isn't it? Like if you can't fake the funk, as they say, and I don't think Die ever does. So yeah.
He lives it, breathes it.
Oh,
I know there's a lot of people who get into drum and bass for like techie bass lines and all that stuff. I just love like a good wobbly sub. Done well, it's the best, man, for me. But yeah, anyway, I love that tune. I play that to this
It's a great
day.
tune. Yeah, it's good.
And I feel like it's not doesn't get the respect it deserves somehow. I don't know.
I think at the timing it's a pretty big tune.
Was it? I probably wasn't into drum and bass at the time in the sense of like being in the clubs and stuff. I was doing bass music-y stuff, whatever. But yeah, no, I love it. And next up, I think it's your choice, Matt.
Yes, I went for. To be honest, I agree with you. For me, there's two sides of Die that I really like. There's the sort of boogie, soulful sample stuff, and then there's just the straight, simple roller.
Yeah.
You know, it's the crusty drums. It's like
Blunted.
a bit like you saying with your keyboard skills. Real simple bass lines, but it just works. And also they're fun.
Yeah.
And so I went for this one, which is called Blow Your Whistle, which came out on Full Cycle, which is Crust and Ronnie Sides label. And I remember buying this on vinyl. Not as romantic as Black Market. I bought this from HMV on Oxford Street.
HMV
which is the least
used some
romantic.
drawers back in the day.
Yeah, I used to work around the corner, so I spent a lot. Anyway, and it's just a very fun mixing record, very fun dancing record, and it's got some cool little sort of samples in it.
That's the thing. I think all of Die's rollers, he's really good at like putting in the little details and effects
flavour,
and
the spice, the flavourings, seasonings even.
Back in the day, I used to run a blog which was interviewing people about music, and we interviewed Die, and he came up with a great saying which I've tried to live by. I was asking him like, how do you make these rollers that don't do anything but they're still interesting? He's like, you just don't over flavour the soup.
Okay.
The words to live by. Anyway,
this is a perfect.
Sounds a bit clipsy as well, actually.
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking that because they both do similar things, or they did similar things, which is like simple melodies over that sort of like rolling drums. But I just preferred the way that I did them.
Fair.
Sweet. 103.7 FM.
How have you guys found writing straight dance floor stuff in lockdown?
Not much inspiration for it.
It's weird because I've done quite a lot of it, but it does feel a little bit bizarre, doesn't it? I mean, I think we've had this conversation before as well, but
I think it's a well-trodden path. This sort of writing dance music in lockdown.
But then it's weird because it's like at the same time you hear something like this, which done so well, you're just like, I just want to be in a club, and I love this, and I'm glad that I'm involved in this world. You know what I mean?
21st of June,
smashed.
The clock is ticking.
Okay, now this one I believe was one of your 5-year-old selections, yeah?
Yeah. I picked this up from Nicky himself.
My boy Nick.
So you ran home to your crib with this in your hand.
And I went straight to
this in one hand, Beano in the other. What tells about this tune, Matt?
This is a tune with some drums and some bass.
So what genre would you class that as?
Drum and bass.
Donk and badonk.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just got a simple bass line, but super catchy.
This is pure Die, isn't it? This tune.
Do you know what? It is a simple bass line, but you don't hear that tone that much, do you? Like,
it's an interesting tone. It's not something that you'd.
I guess some of the jump up is kind of taking inspiration from it. You know, that kind of like resonance of.
Yeah.
But don't do it as well though.
Yeah. But also, the thing I like about this tune is it drops. And then it drops.
It drops out the sub, doesn't it?
It drops out the sub, exactly.
And again, it's like it takes ages to get there. You wouldn't write that nowadays. You'd be like 32 bars. You've not had the banging bit.
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Yeah.
In fact, we've still not had the riff yet, and we've been chatting for ages.
Here it is.
I'd love to let that roll, but we are getting a bit close towards the end of the show. So I wanted to play this next tune. This is Goals. It's by Goals, and the tune's called Definition of Success. Goals is, I think, John First, Will LV, and Ian, who had some stuff on Cosmic Bridge, and he's also in a folk band called Stick in the Wheel, which is really good. And yeah, I don't know, I think John's been making some really wicked stuff recently, so yeah, I'm quite hyped to play this. Mad compressed think break going on.
Ooh.
This beat tape is out now on Bandcamp, so yeah, check it out. Hold tight, John First, lover of arpeggios. Yeah, big up John on that one. And up next, we've got something from Deft and Lewis James. A tune called Octo. I think they self-released this one. Another arpeggio one, so conceptually tying it together, as I do, in my Shakespearean way.
Yep.
Team, I think we're getting towards the end of the show. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back in a month's time with more fireside chat and moustache-based digressions.
And a tighter competition.
Tighter, sexier competition. Alright.
It's a good night for me.
And it's
a great night from me.
And it's the best night from me. This has been The Critical Show on SU FM. Keep it locked, 103.7. Big ups.
Don't touch that dial. Swoop.